People call Scotland haunted as if the word explains anything. It does not. Tonight, I have 3 places where the record was already heavy before the ghost story touched it. Inside a royal castle, tradition says a room was sealed for centuries, with windows that have no room behind them. Under South Bridge, a city built upward and left rooms below for damp, trades, and the evidence of ordinary lives. And in Greyfriars, the reports do not stop at footsteps. They leave marks. This is not a list of spooky names. This is a record of 3 places where history opened the door and legend walked through it. The order is simple. Number 3 begins with a castle and a room no one can find. Number 2 goes under the city, where progress made a place no one wanted to see. Number 1 is the graveyard, whose most famous reports are physical. I am not here to prove ghosts. I am here to separate the record from the tale, then show you why the tale survived. Number 3 is Glamis Castle. Most haunted places ask you to imagine the dark. Glamis asks you to count the windows. Glamis is one of the oldest inhabited castles in Scotland, the seat of the Earls of Strathmore and Kinghorn, and the childhood home of the late Queen Mother. Royal, documented, still lived in. That is what makes the legend harder to wave away, because the oldest story about Glamis is not a shape in a window. It is a room no one can find. Local tradition holds that if you stand outside and count the windows, then walk the castle and count the rooms, the numbers do not agree. There are windows with no room behind them. Somewhere in these walls, the story says, a chamber was sealed. The fear at Glamis is not a jump scare, it is arithmetic. You are standing in a corridor you can measure. You can touch the stone. You can count the doors. And the castle still holds one more space than it will show you. The most famous version is simply called The Secret of Glamis. The tradition says a room was walled up to hide something the family would not name, and that the secret was passed from each earl to his heir on his 21st birthday, and to no one else. We mark that as legend. No document proves it, but the value here is never proof. It is behavior. Generations of guests reportedly tried to find the room by hanging cloth or towels from every window they could reach, then walking outside to see which window showed nothing. Picture that. Not ghost hunters. Guests. Ordinary people, leaning from every window of a royal castle, trying to prove by cloth and daylight that one room is missing. That is the same pattern in all 3 places tonight. A story strong enough that living people change what they do inside it. There is an older tale beneath it. Earl Beardie, a lord of Glamis in legend, is said to have played cards deep into the Sabbath night, and to have sworn he would play with the devil himself if no one else would join him. The tradition says something answered, and that somewhere behind the sealed wall, the game never ended. We do not claim the room is real. We notice that a castle full of confirmed history has spent 400 years unable to close one story. The archive can confirm the castle, the family, and the crown. It cannot confirm the room. But a house does not wall up a story for 4 centuries unless something was worth hiding. And if number 3 is a secret kept inside the walls, number 2 is a secret the city kept underneath the street. Number 2 is South Bridge Vaults. The confirmed history begins with ambition. Work on South Bridge began in 1785, and it was completed in 1788. It was built to connect the old town to the expanding city. 19 stone arches carried the bridge, but shops and tenements enclosed most of them, leaving dark vaulted spaces below. The bridge was built for movement, but the story lives in the places movement forgot. The vaults were used for trades and storage. Then damp came through, water leaked, air thickened, businesses left. And after that, the history gets harder to look at. A bottle, a pipe, a button, the ordinary debris of people passing through rooms that were never meant to become myth. Excavation later found household objects: toys, medicine bottles, pipes, buttons, horseshoes, pottery. Those are small things. That is why they work. A ghost story can be dismissed. A child's toy under stone is more difficult. The vaults came back into public attention after a chance excavation in 1985. Think about that. The city did not need to invent darkness under itself. It reopened it. And that is why South Bridge stays with you. Not a quick ghost story, but a place the city buried and then reopened. The horror is architectural before it is supernatural. A bridge is supposed to solve a problem. This one solved movement above and created concealment below. Boots and traffic over the head, wet stone and trapped air underneath. Then come the reports. Visitors and tours have reported unexplained activity in the vaults. We do not state that as proof. We mark it as report. But a report does not need to be proven to matter. It tells us what the place does to people now. This is not a monster. It is the edge of attention, a small watcher at the side of a vault arch, a shape you are not sure you saw. That is the grammar of underground fear. Not attack, but uncertainty. The eye keeps searching the black between the stones. The ear keeps waiting for the drip to become a step. The mind starts asking the question the vaults were built to ask. If a city can hide rooms from itself, what else can it hide? South Bridge is not frightening because it is old. It is frightening because its design created a second city. Above, progress, shops, tenements, traffic. Below, damp rooms, stored goods, then evidence that ordinary people may have lived where no one should have had to live. The bridge was meant to carry Edinburgh forward. The vaults kept what progress put underneath. And if number 2 is the city beneath the city, number 1 is a graveyard where the reports learned to touch back. Number 1 is Greyfriars Kirkyard. This place does not need a ghost story to become heavy. Greyfriars is one of Edinburgh's famous graveyards, owned by the City of Edinburgh Council. The National Covenant was presented and signed at Greyfriars in 1638. That is the first layer. Public history. Names, dates, religion, politics, pressure. Then there is the darker layer around Covenanters' prison and the dead held in the ground around it. Glamis kept its secret behind a wall. South Bridge kept its underneath the street. Greyfriars keeps nothing hidden and is still oppressive. The sky is visible. The paths are visible. The gates are visible. That makes the reported fear more interesting because it is not hiding behind darkness alone. But Greyfriars is number 1 because its modern legend is not just a shape in a corridor. It is physical. City of the Dead identifies the black mausoleum behind Covenanters' prison as the center of the Mackenzie Poltergeist legend. That is a tour claim. We mark it as reported. But the list of reports is what changes the temperature. The company records claims of scratches, bruises, collapses, hot and cold spots, stopped cameras and watches, smells, knocking, and sensations of contact. That is why Greyfriars cannot sit at number 3. Glamis gives us a sealed room. South Bridge gives us the city below. Greyfriars gives us reports that cross the line from sight to skin. That is the turn this record has been building toward. First, a secret a castle would not open. Then, rooms where the city left its underside. Now, a place where the legend says the boundary moves the other way, not the living reaching toward the dead. The dead, or the story of the dead, reaching back. There is no faked evidence here. Only a hand near stone, a shadow at the mausoleum gate, a mark implied, never shown. The point is not gore. The point is contact. There is an honesty the record must keep. City of the Dead says it does not know what the Mackenzie Poltergeist is, and lists non-supernatural explanations among the possibilities. It makes the record stronger. Because the archive does not need certainty to recognize a pattern of fear, and it lets you stay with the story without being lied to. We are not asking them to accept every mark as paranormal. We are asking them to notice why this legend travels further than a whisper in a graveyard. Physical claims change behavior. People lean away from gates. They check their arms. They laugh, then go quiet. That human reaction is part of the record too. What matters is not whether you believe every report. What matters is whether the place can hold the question. A graveyard with documented historical weight. A locked space with a named legend. Tour records that describe physical effects. Visitors who leave with a story they did not expect to have. That is the strongest kind of haunting. Not something is definitely there. Enough people came away changed that the record could not stay closed. Old Man Ember verdict. Greyfriars belongs at number 1 because its legend does not only ask to be seen. It asks whether the body noticed first. 3 places. 1 castle with a room it will not open. 1 bridge that built darkness into the city. 1 graveyard where the reports became physical. If there is a Scottish place you believe belongs in the next record, bring me the name. Bring me the source. Bring me the tale people still tell. The archive does not need every legend to be proven. It needs the story marked honestly. This record is sealed.